Hey, it's me, Saul. I'm back after a much needed break looking at the other DDD cards that could potentially come to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Like, they have so much support in the TCG, it's ridiculous. Like, I just could not bring myself to go any further. We didn't even get halfway last time of all of the DDD, like, specifically Pendulum cards. They also have Synchro and XYZ cards that we don't have in Duel Links. I did not know that DDDs were such, like, a wide archetype. Like, if anything, it makes me excited for the future of not just DDDs, but like the game in general, because this archetype has the potential to be so diverse and do so much. And with all of the support, it's going to get to the point where if we eventually get all of this, because I can't tell you, I don't know for certain which of these cards we will get, but there's too many of these cards that exist for us to not get some of them. And because there's so many, the deck building and like the best practice and ways in which people go about playing DDDs, it can be so diverse, it can be so unique to each player, and I'm excited for that. So let's pick up where we left off and get to learning more about the DD Pendulum support that we could be getting in Arc 5. The next card I wanted us to talk about on the list is DD Savant Kepler. Now, this is a level 1 card with a pendulum scale of 10. That is really, really good. The higher a card scale or the lower a card scale, the better in my opinion. You don't really want those mid scales like 5 or 6 or 4. Like, those are really, really awkward numbers in my personal opinion, because if it's 1 or 10, that gives you a whole range of things that you could potentially do. So its pendulum effect is you cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. Fair enough. It can't be negated. Once per turn during your standby phase, reduce this card's pendulum scale by 2. Okay. Then destroy all monsters you control with a level greater than or equal to. Okay, so this is just like the last one we went. This is just like Galileo, right? That I don't like that. I don't want to destroy my own. Well, maybe there's something I don't know about DDs where you would want to be destroying your own monsters in that way. But like, that just doesn't seem beneficial to my well-being. What's your monster effect? If this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. You can only use this effect once per turn. Target one other DD card you control and return it to the hand. Add one dark contract from your deck to your hand. So I'm always going to choose the second one. And this is a level 1 card, so you can just normal summon it regularly. That's actually not bad. So it's a searcher. Forget everything else that we read just now. As far as I'm concerned, this card is here to be a searcher. The only line on this card that means anything to me is the last one. I could be wrong about that. See, here's the thing. Reacting to these cards with you guys rather than like taking my time and processing it, I feel like it makes for more entertaining content, but there's also more potential for me to come off sounding like a clown who doesn't know what he's talking about, because maybe there's a card that I'm missing, maybe there's something that I'm not seeing here, but that all sounds bad except for the last line, my guy. Let's move on to the next card. DD Savant Newton. All right, what do you say? Cannot pendulum summon monsters except DDs. Yeah, cannot be negated. Once, while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate an activated trap effect that would I was so happy. I mean, I guess you can negate your own effect that would inflict damage to you. One of them, I think, negated the spell damage, so this can negate the trap effect damage to yourself. So that's good, I guess. I guess it says once, not once per turn. So that doesn't. I'm not feeling it so far. All right. By the way, it's got a level of 7 and a scale of 10, so a good scale. You can discard this card. Then target one DD or dark contract in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. Okay, so this is kind of a recovery card. I prefer the ones that are adding cards from your deck to your hand rather than from your graveyard to your hand. But like, that's not bad, I would say. This card isn't bad, especially because you don't have to normal summon it. You can just discard it and get that effect. And then there are cards that can use cards in your graveyard. So this could then be used for like a fusion summon from the graveyard. So that's actually not terrible, I don't think. It's not, if I had to rate it, I would give it like a 7, I think. Would I give it a 7? Yeah, I think I would give it a 7. DD Savant Nicola. These names are, I actually kind of like these names. All right, it's a level 6 monster, scale of 8, so not as good as some of the ones we've seen, but still decently big. Its pendulum effect is, of course, you cannot pendulum summon except DD monsters, cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can discard one DDD monster, so specifically DDD, not DD. There's a difference. I know you don't play DDDs, it's kind of weird, but yeah, you have DD monsters and you have DDD monsters. It's weird. Then target one level 6 or lower DD monster, so you see the difference already. So you can discard one DDD monster and target a level 6 or lower DD monster you control. It gains 2,000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. That's actually not terrible because the card that you discard to the graveyard can probably be used as a material for something else. That's just a free 2000 attack. And I know I said previously that DDs are really good at boosting their attack anyway or just having massive attack, but that's only when you consider a 500 attack point boost, that's not really crazy. But this is 2000 attack in one go, and you can do this once per turn. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so if this card, as its monster effect, if this card is in the Pendulum Zone, okay, so I guess its monster effect is kind of related to its Pendulum Zone effect, or its place in the Pendulum Zone. So if this card in the Pendulum Zone is destroyed, target one DDD monster you control, return it to the hand, okay. And if you do, place 2 face-up DD Pendulum monsters from your extra deck in your Pendulum Zones, but they cannot activate their, whoa, hold on. So that is a hefty cost, but what it does is pretty damn cool. If this card is destroyed in the Pendulum Zone, you can return one DDD monster you control to the hand. And so the DDD monsters are the hefty ones, your big boys, right? Like the ones that might take some doing to get out. So that is a hefty cost, but then you get to get 2 face-up Pendulum monsters from your face-up extra deck and just set them. So you basically immediately balance the scales without having to search or do anything else, right? You can get any 2 monsters you want with different scales, and even though they can't use their effects, you've just gotten yourself a free Pendulum summon. So the card that was just returned to your hand can then be brought right back out. I like that. I like that quite a lot. The cost is barely even a cost. The question is just, do you have the DDD monster on the field to return to your hand? And do you have an effect that can destroy this yourself? Because if your opponent can read, they're not going to destroy this card. So 8. I give you 8.5. No, 8. I give you an 8. Let's move on. DD Savant Thomas. I had a friend named Thomas. I'm a bad friend. Anyway, its Pendulum effect is during your main phase, you can add 1 face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. That's actually not bad. So if one of your Pendulum monsters gets destroyed, this card just lets you get it right back rather than having to Pendulum summon it out. And then I guess you could use it as the other Pendulum monster. Ooh, but this card has a scale of 6. That's mid. Nah, I don't like that in the slightest because you can't really get the big boys out with that unless you... Nah, see, I don't like scales in the middle. Again, be up or down. Choose. Nah, I don't like that. Its monster effect is you can target 1 DD card in your Pendulum Zone, destroy that card, and if you do, special summon 1 level 8 DDD monster from your deck in defense position, but its effects are negated and any damage your opponent takes becomes halved? Wow. Okay, so this is interesting, I suppose. So you can basically, so you destroy one of your DD Pendulum monsters that's acting as a Pendulum monster. That's cool. Then you special summon a level 8 monster from your deck, but it doesn't get to use its effects. But if you have another monster or effect that can be used, so you can use it to fusion or synchro and all that kind of stuff. So that is pretty good. And when Pendulum monsters are destroyed, they go to the face-up extra deck. So that's actually not bad. The only thing that I don't like about this card is its scale. If its scale was better, I would say this would be one of my favorite cards. As is, with a scale like that, the most I can give you is like an 8 or a 7.5. Let's move on. DDD Chaos King Apocalypse. This one has all the Ds. This has all the Ds, and okay, that level 7, scale of 4, not great but not terrible. Its Pendulum effect is you can banish 2 DD monsters from your graveyard and special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, and it's got 2,700 attack, so that's actually not bad. And DD monsters will potentially be in your graveyard because you're using them as materials to get out other monsters. So this is just basically making it so its Pendulum effect is for itself, basically to banish other cards, and then you can bring this out. So you're not actually, well, you might use this to Pendulum summon and then bring it out, but like you've only got 3 monster zones, so maybe not. Its monster effect is, so you would use its Pendulum summon. You would use its Pendulum effect to special summon it potentially, and then its monster effect would be during your opponent's turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, never mind, ignore the thing I just said. So it's a hand trap. So you can target 2 face-up spell or trap cards you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except fiend type monsters. Also destroy the targeted cards, and if you do, special summon this card You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, that was a lot. So what that sounded like to me is, on my opponent's turn, if this card is in my hand, I can target 2 of my face-up spell or trap cards, destroy those 2 cards. I can't special summon any more monsters, but like it's my opponent's turn, so I probably wouldn't have been doing that anyway. So I can just get this big monster on the field during my opponent's turn, which is pretty damn nice, I'll be honest with you. And it's a quick effect, so let's say they try and MST or destroy my spells or do anything, I can just get this card out on the field, which is nice. And it also works from the graveyard. Hold on, no, that's not good. That's not good, because this card usually won't be in the graveyard. If you don't know, when a Pendulum monster is destroyed, it goes to your face-up extra deck, and so this card would have to be used for like an XYZ summon and then detached as a material or something to get it into the graveyard. So I don't know why this would be in your graveyard, but if this card is in your graveyard, it would be really good. If not for that floating effect, I would say that this is a really, really good effect, because that means you fusion summon using this card, and then you just keep on like using it by bringing it out of the graveyard, but like you can't really do that. So I'm gonna give this, I was about to say 6, but like that hand special summon is kind of fire, so I'm gonna give it an 8. Let's move on. DDD Destiny King 0 Laplace. Jesus Christ, it's got a scale of 1, which is fabulous. It's level 10. During your main phase, its Pendulum effect is you can add 1 face-up DDD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. That's really, really good, and it's got a really good scale. Okay, what's your monster effect? Don't let me down. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 1 DDD monster, but before damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, activate this effect. This card's attack becomes double that oh my god! This card's attack becomes double that opponent's original attack until the end of the damage step. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. The first time this card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it's not destroyed. Also, you take no damage from that battle, bro, wait, what? That is disgusting. Hey, yo, and it says if this card battles an opponent's monster, it gains double that attack. So it's not if this card attacks into that opponent's monster, it's if your opponent attacks into you, you also gain that. Bro, that's fire. That is 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would recommend to a friend. This is beautiful to me. Where's the downside to this? I'm looking hard for the downside. It's got a beautiful scale. It's got a decent, I would say a decently good Pendulum effect for like recovery. And it's a monster effect. You just tribute 1 DDD monster and then you get a behemoth. You get bro, what? I mean, I guess the one thing that your opponent could do is change its defense position. So I guess like Econ beats this card, and then because it has 0 defense, but like that is fire. That is fire. Oh, but I guess one downside is it becomes double your opponent's original attack. So let's say they boosted them. Let's say you're playing against a Bujin player who actually, wait, no, they boost themselves to double their original attack. So you guys would just tie. And the first time this card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it's not destroyed. So even that wouldn't work. This is a difficult card to get rid of. I don't think we're going to get this card, but if we did, mwah, beautiful. Main box you are. In fact, the selection box, it goes in I would get it. I wouldn't even care. This is a beautiful card. Let's move on. DDD Doom King Armageddon. How many of these things are there, bro? Level 8 with a scale of 4, so not great, but not terrible. Once per turn as its Pendulum effect, target 1 DD monster you control. It gains 800 attack until the end of this turn. That's okay. That's kind of mid in my opinion, but what's your monster effect? You're a level 8 monster. Once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, target 1 of those monsters. This card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack until the end of the turn. This card cannot attack your opponent directly during the turn this is activated. Cannot be destroyed by spell or trap effect. Hey, what? See, you can't come in here after that card we just read. You can't come in here after Destiny King 0 Laplace and be that mid. I'm sorry, you get a 5. Do you even get a 5? Mid, right in the middle. How dare you? How dare you offend my sensibilities by being that average? Bro, I think I'm just will I compare everything else that I read today to Laplace? I think I will. We might need to stop here. We've gone about 2/3 of the way through all of the support that they have. Yes, there's even more. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed finding out about DDD support we could be getting in the future with me. So let me know how you're feeling about it. I hope you have a great day. I hope you had some fun with me. And I'll see you later. Bye.